Hello everyone, it's Raven. I'm here with Saber, and
Hey, what's up?
yeah, and we got some stuff we want to kind of go over, for lack
Yeah,
of a
some
better term.
stuff.
Some
Yeah.
stuff and
Yeah,
things. Yeah.
What's up, bro?
Trust me, guys. All night's been like this.
Yeah, well, you could deal with it.
Oh, anyway.
Anyway.
So what you're looking at right now is actually the result of us screwing around in survival for the first time, really, in a long time.
Yay, day off.
Right, and we spent about an hour and a half out mining asteroids. We happen to have I'll show you guys, a nice big asteroid belt right here. Goes around in our system, so it's kind of nice. And we went out there and we just chewed them a lot. And so after an hour and a half, we came back. We ended up with 121,415 crystal circuits, 148,825 alloyed metal mesh, and mind you, pretty much everything you see in here was made with that stuff. So,
Yep.
and then, 17,000 Thorens capsules, 1,900 Parston, 13,000 Zircon. You get the idea. It's almost all over 10,000. There are a few that are lower. But yeah, so those people that are complaining about resource gathering and stuff like that, yeah, it's you can do it. It's not
Yeah,
hard.
we didn't even use big salvagers either.
Yeah, we weren't even using world eaters. We were using Demeters.
Yep.
And Demeters, their salvaging array is big for how cheap it is, but it's a cheap ship, so it ain't that big. So yeah, we're just out here on the Imperium home base, and yeah, so we wanted to kind of talk about crafting a little bit and the changes to how the universe is, and then a little bit about well, specifically about the Mushroom Fleet server, I think.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know of any other servers that are doing it, but specifically regarding PvP, there have been some changes that I don't think a lot of people know about, and it's definitely something you will want to know about. So, do you want to cover that first, or do you want to go over the crafting stuff?
How about we go over, let's go over the universe changes so people actually understand why crafting is important.
Okay.
And if you want to cover some of that, feel free, or I can do it. Or
I think you should cover the crafting, and then I'll do the PvP bit, because you know more about that than I do.
Well, right now with the universe change, there are we're on the server. We are at 10 times the normal shop spawn. So a shop is supposed to spawn every, I think, roughly 41 sectors or something like that, or one sector out of every 100. That's how it's normally set up. Or no, that's not even how it's normally set up. Normally it's even rarer than that. That's how it is on the server. Tom implemented times 10 just to kind of, baby everybody in, because switching to crafting all of a sudden is a little bit different. And I'm still hearing complaints all the time. And the fact is that right now is when the game is becoming more survival based. So, right about now is when servers are going to kind of have to choose between, are you playing survival or are you playing creative?
Yeah, think of this as sort of a transitionary period where it's going from how the game has been, which is kind of like how Minecraft started, where it was all creative, and then it slowly started to build in and added more of the survival stuff. That's kind of what this game is currently going through. So that's something that you want to kind of keep in mind, because I mean, it really isn't hard to get into the crafting stuff. I mean, it's a little daunting at first, but as soon as you start to get it, it just snaps together really quickly. Because I mean, even I don't know all the stuff about the crafting, but it's not like Minecraft where you have to know recipes and stuff, because it all just kind of, it's a drop down usually where you can just make whatever you want. So it's really easy to do.
And I'll cover kind of that part here towards the end, but at the same time, I know Tamino's done tons of videos. I believe I've done a video. Saber, you've done the stuff for the crafting race to a certain extent.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And that just yeah, but I mean, I can, if I have, I mean, normally you start with what, 2,500 or 25,000 credits, and a ship core and some salvagers and stuff. I literally started with nothing but, well, my helmet, yeah, the laser, healing beam, power supply beam, and a marker beam, and no items at all on a planet. And I was up in the air with a salvager and mining and munching on a station within 30 minutes.
Yep.
It's not hard to do. You just, some of it's practice, of course. Some of it's digging in and just learning it. But most of it is actually pretty self-explanatory once you get the very basics down. And I know there's, like I said, Tom's done a few good tutorial videos on it. I'm planning to do, hopefully, a very good one.
Yeah,
we'll let you guys decide.
I was actually in Tom's first one, I think, for the new setup, and it was sort of that thing where he was just teaching me how to do it because I had no idea, and so I was kind of intimidated by it. But then he showed me, how simple it is, and it's like, oh, so all you really need to know how to do is where to put stuff, and then where you need to put that stuff. That's pretty much it.
Exactly, and there's a way that you can literally get it set up so that you just throw all your raw materials into one Plex storage or straight into the capsule refinery, and from there, it will, if you have it set up right, it'll just build whatever block you want for you, period.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool. And I'll be probably doing some of that stuff later on when I really start digging into the survival stuff here very, very shortly, hopefully. Yeah, so with the universe update, I'm going to quickly switch to the map so you guys can kind of see. Right now, I'm not actually in the main, in our main area, but this is the Imperium area. So you'll see this is the space that we...
Galaxy.
Exactly. This is the space we control. And inside that space, people follow our rules if we can enforce them.
And if you pan towards the bottom of the galaxy, you should see all the areas in the main spawn galaxy, all the other faction controlled areas. If you're zoomed in close enough to the galaxy.
Yeah. I can see it. It's a pain in the butt to see though.
Yeah. So the lines that you guys can see are actually the lines between wormholes. It will also show up for if you do gates, then the FTL jumps. Those will also show up as blue lines rather than purple. But then all the different colored boxes are all of the faction-controlled sectors.
And yeah, I'm gonna let you kind of dig in with what the new rules are.
Okay, so this is specifically to Mushroom Fleet, and forgive me if I get anything wrong. I've heard them a couple times, but as far as I understand, basically, what we used to have was what we called nullsec, which was anything that was triple negative sector. You could do PvP. Now what we're switching it over to is anything that isn't a faction-controlled sector can be PvP. So basically, anytime you're out in open space, it is basically open game, or free game for anybody to get attacked.
It's actually even more so than that. And forgive me for interjecting, but
no, go ahead.
Faction-controlled space is also fair game as long as it's not mushroom fleets.
Yeah, it depends on the faction itself. So, I mean, if you're in a friendly factions area, then they're gonna, keep you safe and protect you or whatever. But if you're in a not friendly factions space, then they're gonna come after you most likely, because they will get a warning when you enter their space, and so they'll know you're there.
And on top of that, you can defend your space, and you can even have your own rules, arbitrary or not, as long as they don't conflict with the server rules. That being said, if you want to have your own custom rules for your space, it is up to you to enforce them.
Yep.
So if you want to say no PvP inside my space, you need to enforce that rule.
Yep.
So, other than Mushroom Fleet, in Mushroom Fleet owned space, if you engage in PvP, it will be just like if you engaged in PvP in Empire space. That is essentially where the old server is. If you want to build in peace,
it's around spawn, so you're safe.
Yep. Basically all around
16 by 16.
Yep, exactly. In that system, you're free to build, etc., unmolested, and if something happens, we will come and take care of it. However, outside of that space, game on. That's really what it is. It's game on. And if Saber and I were in different factions and I decided one day, you know what, screw Saber, I'm gonna go blow up some of his stuff.
I don't like how your face looks.
Exactly. I can go and do that. I could, we'll just say that these two, this side is Saber's, this side's mine. I could just come right on over,
Draw a
blow his
line.
stuff up, and come on back. And if he can't stop me, he can't stop me.
Yep. One thing that I would like to say, which it's not a rule, but I would just like to say this just for the fact of the matter. Obviously, a lot of the people, well, pretty much everybody is basically doing survival. It's you're crafting from the start. Not everybody has a big faction to join. So if you see somebody that is in their own space, whether it's faction controlled or not, and it's like they're just starting a station, like, please don't be an a-hole to anybody. Like,
Yep.
I realize like some people are just gonna, you just want to destroy people. Great, awesome, but like, just shooting a defenseless person is not gonna be as much of, as much fun or as much of a challenge as going after somebody who has a base set up already.
Yeah,
So
there are trolling rules as well. If you're just going after somebody and they can't even get their feet off the ground,
those rules are still
we'll have words. However, if you decide, hey, this guy's got a lot of stuff, right? And maybe I want some of that stuff. You can go over there, and I believe we've already had one player on the server doing it a couple times. Just show up and say, "Give me your stuff, or I blow you up." And and you can do that. However, be smart about it. I mean, just the general rule of the server is don't be a dick. So if you're, in this case, he's still a dick. But if he's gonna be a dick, be a smart dick. Just go after the people that can take the hit.
Counter argument for that is what actually happened with that situation was. Don't be too intimidated by people. If somebody knocks on your door and says, "Give me all your stuff," then you don't necessarily have to give them all your stuff. You could, for example, take apart your ships. If they were saying, "Take apart your ships and give me the stuff," you could take apart your ships and then hide in your faction home base where you're invulnerable. So,
exactly.
Like, don't just assume because someone is in your sector that you are at risk. As long as it's like faction home based or something like that. Obviously, if it's not, then you may have some problems. But if you have turrets or whatever, you're good.
Right, and I mean, maybe it kind of sucks that you had to take apart your stuff, but you still have all the materials.
Yeah.
You still have the monetary value of the ship, and you have the blueprint. And I mean, all those fails, you've got materials and all. But one thing I have heard a lot is complaining about not enough shops. I want to make it clear, that's by design. We have more shops than the stock game does right now.
Yep.
And I know +9 has gone out with a scanner ship, and I've done it too. And found shops. It ain't that hard to do. You can do it. If you go buzzing around, you'll find shops all over the place. You just need to search systematically.
Yeah, and even then, like, there's going to be probably now a lot of player shops set up. So keep that in mind. I mean, if you see somebody who has a really sweet base, it's all set up, then they probably have a shop there. And if they do, then they might let you use it. So, I mean, don't just assume because there are these new PvP rules that means that every single sector you're going to go into is going to be a combat. Like, it's not necessarily going to be that. I mean, I can't guarantee that it won't always be that, but it shouldn't theoretically be that. So, I mean, there's still going to be the opportunity to work together. I can tell you now, based on the plans that we have, there's going to be like trade lanes being formed and stuff where transport's going on between sectors and stuff, because there's just going to be so much more space and more sectors that are being controlled by individual factions. And so there's going to be some really cool stuff that's going on. But yeah, don't just assume that every sector is going to be a war zone. Although I can't tell you that it won't be, but at least hopefully I'm hoping that it is not.
Yeah, I mean, you can easily set up a negotiation. Let's say you're not one of those people that likes to craft and do stuff like that. Talk to somebody who likes to craft. Say, hey, do this, and I'll provide a service for you.
Also, actually, one thing that I do want to quickly mention is when you enter a faction controlled space, in the top of the screen in the middle where it shows your sector numbers and stuff, on the right hand side of that is going to be the actual faction name that owns that sector. So if you're just entering some faction controlled space and you see that it's faction controlled, maybe just shoot a message out in chat, be like, hey. Almost like a lot of sci-fi shows do. Be like, hey, requesting to like pass through this space or this sector. Is it okay if I do that? Or because hopefully they won't just be like, oh, no, we're gonna come shoot you. They'd just be like, get out now, rather than oh, have a gun.
Yeah, and the other thing is, just from personal experience, multiple jump drives to get through the maybe not so happy sectors is not a bad idea.
Jump drives are your friend.
Yeah, you'll need probably 3 to get through, 3 or 4 to get through a sector, as long as you're just going straight through and you're not going at a weird diagonal. If you're going corner to, like, you know, furthest point corners, you're gonna need more than that, but you know, that can get you through in a pinch. And you know, just in general, be cautious. I mean, I've taken to putting 2 jump drives on my ships, and one's a very slow jump drive, but I just have it charged at all times.
Yeah, I just always keep mine charged.
Yeah.
Just
well, no, I have that one charged, and then I have the travel one, so that if I get caught out, I can jump away quickly, which has saved my butt more than once. And you know, we're talking about from last night, and last night we had a little our first little faction tiff. I wouldn't even call it a war, but you know, as the Imperium, somebody declared war on us, so we retaliated, and that's it. That's the end of the story.
And that's the rest of the story.
That's pretty much it. We retaliated.
The end.
Pretty much, yeah. And you know, it's one of those things. Guess what? I actually kind of want to talk about that a little bit too, which is admins playing PvP.
Well, really quickly, I would first like to just say, be very careful who you declare war on, and if it's an accident, say so very quickly, because otherwise, retaliation may come swiftly. You don't know. Yeah. So anyway, that's my 2 bits that I wanted to get in about that.
Yeah, definitely. You know, if it's an accident, say, "Hey, guy, hey, sorry about that. Can we fix this?"
Yeah.
And I think that goes for any, you know, it doesn't matter who you attack in general. Just if it was an accident, say it was an accident.
Yeah.
You know, and it's that simple, and that will cause you a lot less pain in general. Yep. That being said, I want to talk about admins engaging in PvP, because we enjoy playing. And we have a general rule, which is if you're going to go and PvP in general, I mean, assuming you're not going and dealing with a player killer, you know, somebody who's running around and was breaking the rules, say, in Mushroom Fleet space, and killing off people when they weren't supposed to be, then you're not supposed to be in God mode. And we aren't. We don't use TP2 commands. We don't use a lot of stuff. However, there are 2 things that I'd really like to bring to people's attention. One, we do this for free. We admin for free, and it's practically a full-time job in some cases.
Especially between other stuff like YouTube and such.
Right, and I'm not trying to complain or anything like that. I enjoy being an admin, and I enjoy helping people out. You know? And that's why I do it. I don't do it because I want the special privileges. I do it because I like you guys, and I like helping you guys out, and I want to make sure that this server and this game does well. That's literally it. However, that means that I know for Saber and I, it's been a long time since we've actually played the game, other than tonight.
Yeah, I was actually
and actually played for fun. Tonight was a little different. It was a nice break.
First in a long time.
Yep.
Yep.
And hopefully not the last, because I liked this. This was fun.
Yep.
That being said, you know, we tend to just say, well, we have rules. You know, a lot of people already have some pretty decent-sized ships, and so we went out last night in relatively small ships. And, you know, we didn't have time to go and salvage every little piece and get every little thing for every single person. We actually managed to, in survival, get probably about 80% of the cash already. And if we had bothered, we could have probably sold off some other stuff and made up the cash. However, we did bring in a couple of these little things, the Akulas, and we went to town. However, it's kind of fair, because the amount of time that we spend, no offense to anybody, but I'm just going to put it out the way that you guys know I put it out. The amount of time that we spend dealing with y'all's bullshit and could be spending salvaging, kinda, you know, I mean, that adds up.
Yeah.
Real fast.
Well, it's I think it's just a combination of working with players in that time that we could otherwise be playing if we weren't admins. And again, this isn't like just to say, oh, well, this gives us right to do these things, because in essence it doesn't, but it's more of a time crunch thing where we don't have time to play the game because we're doing these other things, whether it's, again, YouTube, admin stuff, whatever. So it's kind of, I guess technically it is just kind of a handicap. Like we don't do it much because, like, for instance, tonight it was all like salvage. Everything we did tonight was legit. And we built this whole factory system thing, not obviously the hangars and stuff, but the factory. And all the salvage and stuff was legit, because when we actually play, we're doing it like everybody else. But then if we're at the same time doing admin stuff and things, then yeah, sometimes we'll be flying around in God mode, but there's never going to be any combat in God mode, at least intentionally. Maybe you forget to take it off, whatever. Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's two modes for admins. You're either doing admin stuff or you're playing. So there's never going to be a, oh, well, I fought an admin, but he must have been using admin commands, because if anybody does ever do that, then they won't be an admin for very long. So if that ever does happen, please let other admins know so that we can take care of those sort of situations.
That being said, we've been at this for a long time, and we're usually pretty good about it. And if we do all of a sudden realize that we're in God mode, I mean, I don't know of an admin that won't do this, but I've had it. I've left it on accidentally and I didn't notice. And somebody after a fight said, "Hey, I got a little message saying you were in God mode," and I looked and I checked, and all of a sudden I realized, oh, I'm in God mode. Well, I didn't lose fair and square. They get their ship back.
Yeah.
And they get reimbursement of credits for whatever they lost. I mean, that's only fair. I'm going to reimburse that, and I don't know of any admin that wouldn't. However, if you lose to me fair and square, I'm in my ship, you're in your ship, and I don't have God mode on, and we're just going at it. If I lose, I lose. If you lose, you lose. That's it.
Just like normal players.
And it's just one of those things. And I know it's not going to stop the allegations of admin abuse whenever an admin wins a fight, but at least this way, y'all, I have it documented. Y'all know my stance. Y'all know Saber's stance, and we could just say, you know what? And after talking to several of the other admins, I would say the majority of the admin stance, and that's good enough.
Yeah.
It's at least giving you guys the information to work with, because we like playing the game. If we didn't, we wouldn't be doing this stuff.
Yeah.
That being said,
we wouldn't be doing any of it.
We would love to be able to play the game more, because
so everybody get along. Yay!
Yeah.
Happy fun.
I mean,
no, it's never gonna happen.
I know, right?
Never.
But it's one of those
We're
things. We try to. Yeah, exactly. We try to play the game, and it's. I mean, I'll log on and I'll start building. Back on the in the old builds, I'd start building and just trying to get a video done or something like that, and I just get 4 or 5 p.m. saying, "Hey, I need this. Hey, I need that. Hey, I need this. Hey, I need that," and it really kills. If I'm doing a video, I tend to just not answer at all.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for that.
Yeah, that is actually a really good point, because this happens to me a lot. Well, it happens to all of us a lot. So at least Raven and myself both have like TeamSpeak stuff turned off. So if you're trying to contact us through TeamSpeak and it's like messages, pokes, whatever, and we're just not responding, we're not being a-holes. We just literally can't hear it because we have the sounds turned off. Similar thing with in-game chat, where if you guys try and talk to us, we may have our HUD hidden, we may not be paying attention to it, we may be focused on something else. It's not that we're just ignoring you just to ignore you. It's we have so much other stuff going on that we don't even notice, or we have stuff turned off so we don't notice.
And on top of that, it may be that we're in the middle of filming something and we do see it. We just can't respond without stopping the filming process. And honestly, if you're in the middle of something, like if I'm in the middle of filming a big battle with Saber or something, I don't know, but or a speed build or something like that, and you're bugging me about something, I will try to. If I'm streaming, I tend to just type back streaming or something like that. Yeah. But I can't do that every time, and it's easier for me to respond via in-game chat. I don't always see it though, than it is to TeamSpeak. But I'll stop streaming or stop recording and look at my TeamSpeak, and all of a sudden I've got 5 messages from 5 different people, and I'm sitting there going, oh,
Like, why
sorry.
don't you love me?
And I've heard, I've heard somebody, and I won't mention the name, but I've heard somebody say, yeah, on this server, I tell everybody to expect a 30-minute wait if they want admin help.
Oh wow, that feels good. Thanks.
Yeah, well, one, it doesn't help your case in particular if you're going to go that way, but on top of that, just remember why that is. One, we do it for free. Just remember that. You're not paying for anything.
Really busy.
Two, yeah, we've got a lot of stuff going on. And three, I can't tell you how many times somebody's poked me about something, and in reality, it's like just not even an admin issue. It's not even an issue. It's something like, how do I, faction my home base or something? Just inane things like that. And, cool.
Not that we're not happy to help.
Yeah, we're happy to help.
That kind of stuff is best for in-game chat, because otherwise it usually takes us out of the game where, either we have to alt-tab or whatever, so it's all easy to do that kind of stuff in-game. And then if it's in-game, usually somebody else will also be available to answer in case we are not available.
And again, it's no disrespect for anybody else. It's literally just being busy. And when people sit there and... How can I say this? Because I've had this happen recently, very recently. When people sit there and accuse you of not respecting the people on the server, or not caring about the people on the server, I take offense to that simply because I do care. I spend...
And that's why we do this.
Yeah. And, maybe I'm not being perfect to you, but guess what? You're not
perfect.
Well, that's very true. But on top of that, you're not a special snowflake either. So
We are all unique, special snowflakes,
just like
everybody else.
But just remember that if you have something you need to talk to an admin about, you're probably not the only one. And as much as we would like to get to everyone, within 5 seconds of them, messaging one of us, sometimes it doesn't work that way. Sometimes there's a lot of stuff. And recently, with all the updates and all the different things going on right now, it hasn't been that way. I'm sorry about that, but I can't do anything about it. It's kind of the way it goes right now. So, just bear with all the admins, because, it's kind of rough. I'm hearing, when is my station going to be imported? When is my station going to be imported? Well, think about it. We have a brand new universe update. People are still spreading out and trying to find where their home is really going to be. You think it's going to be there right now, but I have a feeling it won't be after a little while. And, we're just kind of trying to let everything parse out, figure out what's actually happening.
Yeah.
And on top of that, we're looking for bulk import abilities and a good script for that. So, bear with us. It'll happen eventually.
Yeah. I think this kind of works as a transition, because it actually, well, for lack of a better term, this is a very transitionary period for the game. So, kind of bear with us as we try and, help. Because if we try to help everybody with, like, at least stations, to continue on with that example, if we tried to do everybody's station all at once, like now, and then somebody was like, oh, well, you know what, I actually want it over there in this other system, then we would actually be hurting not only ourselves, but the people that we're trying to help. So it's bear with us as we transition, as we all transition through the game, and as the game itself transitions. So, as it just please be patient and, it's cope with us as we try and cope with the ever-changing game.
Yeah.
That's
remember,
just the state that it is.
You gotta remember, all this stuff isn't just new to you. It's new to us. We're figuring it out as we go. So
some of us are a little more behind than the rest. Like me.
It's one of those things.
New weapons, yeah.
Nobody's perfect, and we're doing our best to figure out all the little things. And there's a lot of new stuff being added every day, pretty much, the way schema goes.
not to label myself, but I just realized what I am. I'm the slow bro of the Star Made world. I still don't know. I still don't know the weapon systems. Like I'm still like,
Damn.
wait, how do you connect these things?
I know how to connect them. I don't know what all the
Well, I
weapon
can
systems
yeah,
are.
I don't
I
know
know
the
which ones
combos. I
I
don't know
like to use.
Yeah, I don't know the efficient ones yet. So like,
Yeah.
I'm not that far behind, but I'm far enough behind where I'm still like, I can't help you with what you have questions about. But anyway, yeah, like that's just to kind of bring it all back to what we originally were trying to make this about, because we got a little off topic.
Yeah.
So yeah, as far as crafting goes, it is not as easy, or sorry, it is not as hard as everybody makes it out to be. It's quite easy. It's just a little daunting at first, but once you get past it, it's easy. And as far as Mushroom Fleet specifically, I can't guarantee that it's going to stay as it is because it depends on how chaotic things get. Like if it turns into like the Purge, then we're probably gonna have to change it because this is a recording and building server. But I don't know. I think it'll be interesting, and I think if nobody goes nuts with it, I think it'll be a really cool dynamic. But yeah, so bear with us as we also try that out and try some new things because it's you want to keep things fresh. You don't want it to get stale where it's like, oh well, it's always going to be those negative sectors. And we have some really ambitious plans, at least for the Imperium specifically, so hopefully that will kind of help drive not only ourselves but also the server in general. So yeah, just kind of hang out and please be patient and calm and don't argue with people about things because I've seen that a lot lately.
Yeah.
That's just a random off-topic note.
No, I agree.
But
and
yeah.
just remember, I do want to say this. It'll seem sort of like a non sequitur, but it kind of goes off of, be patient with the admins. Just remember that the admins are people too. One, we're not perfect, but two, we expect to be treated like people. We're not lapdogs, but we're here to help you, but basically none of us expect you to grovel at our feet or anything like that. But we do expect you.
Yeah, if anything, it would just be kind of to be understanding, especially in like high stress situations. Like I'll admit, there was a time recently where there was an event going on, and I was getting very stressed because of numerous factors, namely because I was having to do a lot of admin specific stuff, and not to say, oh well, I had to do my job. No, it wasn't that. It was a lot of other stuff going on at the same time, and so I definitely got a little stressed. And I didn't really snap at anybody, but I was a little more harsh with some people than I normally am. So it's kind of that same thing where like we also come under a lot of stress, and so there's times where you kind of take that into account where we're not always going to be super happy and chipper and helpful all the time because sometimes there's a lot going on for us in game, out of game, whatever. So kind of do understand that as part of the task that we are honored to partake in. It's a give. Well, I don't know what whatever. I mean. Yeah,
it's a privilege to do it, and
yes,
we enjoy doing it for the most part.
Yes,
but it's it can wear on you. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things, and so if you're sitting there and not being super demanding, like being, you must do this for me now because I've gotten that before and a lot. And you just sit there, hey, when you got a second, can you pop over here? And maybe remind me. Maybe I do forget.
Yes,
remind us.
Are great
because the amount of stuff that comes through Saber and I's chat and talking to us and stuff, it gets insane. Like it's too much to keep track of. So remind us.
I can't remember how many times I've had people be like, "Oh yeah, I really want to check out the ship," and I do want to go check out the ship, but then like I get busy doing something else, and then I forget, and then they log off, and then I feel bad. Like,
exactly.
It's not that I was like, "Oh, I don't want to check out that ship." It's just, I actually do just forget. That's all there is to it.
And so remind us, but the trick is just treat us like freaking people, not lapdogs, because we're here to help you. Just like I said, I used to say this to all my friends, and I'll say it to all you guys too. I'll do just about anything for you, but I ain't gonna do everything for you.
Yep.
And if you act right, we won't have any problems, and I'll do what I can for you. However, just remember that you're not the only person here. You do not exist in a vacuum, and we are not all here to help you out. And now I'm not talking to most of the server is perfectly fine and totally gets it. You
guys all rock.
But there are certain people that I'm talking to here, and you You might not even know if you are one, but just remember, if you're not, just don't be a dick. That's the rule of the damn server. Don't be a dick, so don't be a dick. And we'll have a great time. And yeah, so I think that pretty much covers it, doesn't it? Anything else you want to say? What are you doing? So Saber logged off. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna call it there. Saber crashed. So, thanks guys for watching. Sorry that it droned on for so long, but just figured it was about time to get a whole bunch of stuff out there so that you guys knew what was going on and all. And I hope you guys have fun on the server. I know it's a big change with the new universe update, etc. I hope that it all goes well. Definitely leave your feedback, but just remember that we're doing our best. We'll continue to do our best. And yeah. So with that, I'm gonna have to call it here. So as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.